Elaine, progress is being made. That's something both the United States and China are agreeing on as they gear up for weekend discussions in Washington, D.C. But when it comes to hammering out the most difficult of details, it appears that will be up to the leaders of both nations. Speaking from the Oval Office, U.S. President Donald Trump said the high-level face-to-face meetings between China and the U.S. paid dividends. The chasm separating both sides has been narrowed.
Ultimately, I think the biggest decisions and some even smaller decisions will be made by President Xi and myself, and we expect to have a meeting sometime in the not-too-distant future.
Those sticking points could be worked out at a summit at Trump's Mar-a-Lago resort as early as the end of March. The Chinese delegation read a letter from President Xi Jinping to Trump.
Our economic teams have, since lately, engaged in intensive consultations and made significant progress.
The two sides have faced many tense issues, dividing the two largest economies in the world. They include intellectual property rights, what the U.S. calls forced technology transfer, as a price American companies must pay for access to China's lucrative markets, currency exchange rates, crop production, and allowing U.S. banks into China.
Just as Chinese leaders have pointed out on many occasions, our country's door will open only wider to the world. We will continue our efforts to foster a better business environment for foreign enterprises.
Negotiators have been under a tight March 1st deadline. That was the date Trump had said U.S. tariffs on Chinese products would jump from 10 to 25%. But now Trump appears to be backing away from that hard line.
I think that if I see progress being made, substantial progress being made, it would not be inappropriate to extend that deadline, keep it at 10% instead of raising it to 25%, and I would be inclined to doing that.
The tit-for-tat tariffs have been a drain on both economies and have created uncertainty for world markets. Some steps are easier than others. For example, China agreeing to buy more U.S. products to chip away at the trade deficit. Others, involving Chinese currency issues and intellectual property, will need much more massaging to come up with wording that is acceptable to both countries. But the United States says it is adamant that all trade agreements will include strong enforcement mechanisms. Elaine?
All right, Sean Caleb's in our Washington newsroom.